Nerds and geeks. Nerds and geeks. You know we had to do it, right? We missed you last week, so we had to come back this week. And Captain Carter, the legendary
Come on,
nerds.
man.
Look,
That is not. That is not
because we got a lot to
appropriate.
talk about. There's
That's
a
gonna be the
lot to
running
talk
joke
about
now.
this week, y'all. I'm
Oh,
so
that
serious with the
she
nerd
won't be
content.
running though.
Ah!
No. Oh, damn.
All these jokes and Ryan's not here.
That's right. Yours truly, King Nerd-Magnificent Tawala Sharp in the building. I see Anthony from Two Cubicles Down. What is up, sir?
Hello, everybody. This is a good day today.
Yes, sir. Dr. Liz from the freeway.
Hi, everyone. School's out.
What? Mo Kelly.
Yeah, I'm mad that school's out. I walked out on Jurassic Park because these loud ass kids. I'm mad. I got to tell.
Thomas talking Cunningham.
Hey, yes, school is out for one of my last high schoolers. I only have one high schooler left now.
Amen. Amen.
Almost an
I
empty
am actually
nester.
in summer school right now. So my school is in our ESY session. So I'm still in.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a thing. Tonight for the legendary Nerd Around Table, we are going to be getting into, of course, Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel, all the fuckery going on with DC. But first, and this is a very, very serious question, and I've been getting asked this question week after week. We never really got into it. The listeners want to know, the fans want to know, what were your thoughts on the Moon Knight season finale? We never got into it because we spent so much time on Doctor Strange. Boom, we totally passed right over it.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. Is that true?
Yes, we never talked about it. Never. Wow.
Well-
Okay, so Tom.
I'll just say I was impressed that technically we got our first Muslim superhero in Moon Knight because
No,
she's
Jewish.
she.
Oh, her. Okay.
She's not Jewish.
Hmm.
And she had the wings and bulletproofness and jumping and fighting and all of that. So I thought she was actually very good. I was a person who enjoyed the Moon Knight series. I liked the mythology. I thought Oscar Isaacs did an amazing job portraying the different personalities. Even it's not even a spoiler anymore because now it's almost a month and a half old, I guess. But the Jake Lockley persona, which was hinted at in the penultimate episode, the unopened sarcophagus ended up being opened, and Khonshu was manipulating Mark / Jake / the British dude to still continue to do his bidding. And it really jumped full-fledged into the nature of his DID. And I thought that was very satisfying. I thought the Ethan Hawke resolution at the very, very end was satisfying. And I guess that means that we don't have to worry about Crocodile Lady anymore because she was trapped inside him. And so I was fine with it. I was a little crestfallen that it didn't connect with more of the MCU or D plus U, as I've come to call the D plus shows. But I don't need it to, just like I don't need all of my comic books to touch every one of my other comic books. So I was fine with that, and I enjoyed the season finale.
Nice. Dr. Liz.
Yeah, it's been so long. So I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought that it gave a nuanced approach. I'm gonna say overall, I like how the TV series gives nuggets on the D Plus app of different perspectives. So it's a little for different people. I understand how some people did not get into. A lot of people didn't get into Moon Knight, and I'm not sure if it's because it's not as popular as the others. I think it could have done it. I actually, y'all, we watched Eternals this week, and I still think that the way that Eternals ended could have possibly tried to cut the level of maybe a nugget here, because people were deep trying hard to find nuggets to try to connect this to everything or to something, that it would have maybe given this a little bit more of a bump, because this character is so out of nowhere, for most people except Tawala. But at the end of it, I really still felt that it was satisfying. It was different. It was a tight knit story. And I do agree, the multiple personalities is just so all over the place and so good. He is such a good actor. Um, I still think that this is like probably one of the underrated shows because not as many people watched it.
That is fair. That is fair. Anthony, what were your thoughts?
I mean, I enjoyed it to an extent. I mean, I think Ethan Hawke was great as Arthur. Oscar Isaac was great with the multiple personalities. The voice actor of Khonshu was fantastic. The characters were well written, but I did not like the writing. I didn't like how in the last episode, I mean, we have him black out, but we don't, and we see the aftermath of the fight, but we aren't treated with being able to witness the fight. You know, we just go from them being beat up to Mark Spector coming to again, and everybody's on the ground. You know, we don't get any payoff of getting to witness the fights that weren't Steve or Mark. We didn't get a payoff on those, of sitting through those episodes and blacking out with them. So that kind of irked me a bit. So I was iffy about those, but I think Ethan Hawke's an underrated a villain in this show. Oscar Isaac definitely was great as his three personas. So for me, I was okay with it. I would have liked the payoff and being able to witness the fights, maybe a post-credit scene or something like that, or some sort of drop on D+ where we can see what those fights were like. But as of right now, there's no payoff. We just, we blacked out with Mark and Steve.
Okay. Mo.
I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but I think it crystallizes what's so good about Disney Plus. Moon Knight would not have been appropriate, and it would have failed if it were a broadcast television show. It would have been too short and too expensive. It wouldn't have worked in a movie because who the hell is Moon Knight? And there's really no connectivity. So, and I think we're seeing that with the Eternals. When you don't have the Eternals, we don't have the connectivity, to Liz's point, then people may not be as enthusiastic about it. So it's in its perfect place on Disney Plus. I thought it was fine. It wasn't great, but they did enough of an origin where they can drop in Moon Knight at any point in the future, and they put in the work. You don't have to worry about, well, who is this guy? Where did he come from? They've done the work just like they did with WandaVision. They almost set up the whole Spider-Man No Way Home because of WandaVision. So I see what Marvel is trying to do. They're putting in the work now, so later on they don't have to explain anything. They can just move forward.
Yeah,
For me, I would say, as a fan of the character and so many comic books that take place where the action is written in such a way where you understand the violence. To me, a lot of the action, it reminded me of Spawn. It reminded me of a lot of Dark Knight stories, a lot of stories where you have even, some Daredevil comics where you see the stick bouncing around and then you see a bunch of guys on the ground in the next panel. And it took me there. I love how much time they spent peeling back the layers of these characters and how they did an excellent job of adapting a story that goes across a couple of different arcs within the character. This story covered like 2 or 3 different arcs within the Moon Knight character development, and it actually paid off exactly the way that the story goes for its adaptation to the MCU. So for that, I thought it was genius. I know that this is Feige's personal pick. This is the one that he was like, this is my show. This is my thing. And I'm going to go super deep and comic booky on you all. and this is what you're going to get. And I know they're invested in the character. I mean, now you see in the opening crawl for even Miss Marvel that Moon Knight has now been added. He will be showing up in future be it future shows, a future film. This is not a character who they was spent all this money and they did all this development on just to say, oh hey, that was the thing that we did. No, we will see more on Moon Knight. So and then yes, again, for all of you who've been asking, I told you I was eventually going to bring it up, and I kept forgetting because I kept getting hyped on other stuff. But yes, Moon Knight I think is a great introduction for anyone who has never, spent years going across collecting comic books. There are so many different stories that are out there that are just one-offs, one-shots, characters who live in their own world, even though they may live in the same New York as Spider-Man. They may not cross paths until some major crossover, all-encompassing story arc, but that is what makes the comic book universe so engrossing, and is what kept individuals like myself, I'm sure Tom, collecting over like 30 plus years. It's not because it's the same story, it's not because it's the same characters over and over and over. So I think that with Marvel, with this phase 4, everything that they're doing is really going hard to give you that full nuanced comic book collector experience. So that, for everyone who was asking about Moon Knight.
Well, I'd just like to drop in before we talk into the burning trash heap dumpster fire that is the DCEU. I'm going to push back on you, Anthony, because even though we didn't see the bloody sequences, the Mark Spector blackout sequences were all sequences where he was gutting and cutting and stabbing and bloody, and that's not D+. But what we did get in this episode was the Mark Spector and the Steven version of the character full on fighting Arthur, and full on fighting Arthur's minions, and full on working with hippopotamus avatar girl who inexplicably had wings. I don't know how that works, but she was fighting and kicking ass, and they were working together, and she was grabbing stuff, and she was getting shot, and there were some moments of dread where it looked like she was going to get jacked up, and then Mark comes in and he's got the unlimited moon scythe things that he's flipping around like batarangs. I thought there was a lot of that. Plus you got giant sized the
Khonshu
crocodile chick fighting giant Khonshu and knocking over pyramids and shit. So I think we did get to see it. I think that to the extent that Disney Plus was never going to show us a ruthless murder machine, just like they showed us in Uncharted, where the sister girl slashed Antonio Banderas' throat, and yet there was no blood spray because they had to keep it PG-13. I think that was their duck and excuse. And I think it worked in that they introduced Jake Lockley at the end, who is the most ruthless of the personas, and the two other guys don't even know that he exists. So I bought that, and I thought it worked. And I think I agree with you, Twala and Mo, that we are seeing Ms. Marvel, and Ms. Marvel is already going to be in another. We know she's going to be in the sequel to Captain Marvel, but we've also got She-Hulk. We've also got Echo. And unlike the DCEU, which seems to be committed to, well, we've got to have a full 12 episode season of Titans, and then a second bullshit season of Titans, and a second bullshit season of Doom Patrol just because we want to make it. Feige et al. Are saying, we have these characters, we're going to do what we want with the characters, we're going to try to produce quality entertainment, and there has been nothing in the D+ verse that has been as disappointing as,
damn near the entire CW verse.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm literally just saying, they are not messing up. It might not be the scale of a cinema treatment in the MCU, but it doesn't have to be, because what I want to see is live action versions of superheroes and shows that I enjoy. And that's what D+ delivers all the time.
Unlike Naomi, no disrespect to Sister Ava DuVernay. God almighty, that show.
Can we keep her away from capes and powers?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's actually, Ryan's here, by the way, but it's actually not a bad, just regular black family show, but it's a comic book show.
Right.
And so, and the more that I've talked to even some friends on over Twitter, they love Naomi. And I'm like, oh, that's great. They're like, it's a great family show. And I was like, yeah, it's a comic book show.
She
And
said,
this is the problem with this show. If I didn't know it was a comic book show, then I'd be like, oh, this is a nice low budget Smallville.
The problem with
Not
Naomi
it.
is Naomi was a show that was literally based on someone that heard about the comic. It was not based on anything really deep into this story. Was so off
It's so
from the
off.
damn comic. I'm like, what the hell were you
Damn.
reading when you did this, sister? Like, Ava, don't ever touch anything related to comic books ever
Right.
again. Thank God you passed on the opportunity for Black
The
Panther, because
first-
that would have been
look,
a travesty.
The first scene when it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I heard of someone who happens
Yeah.
to be maybe Superman. I was like, oh,
No.
I'm
we're
out.
This
going
is
downhill.
this is how Naomi found. This is how Naomi worked with Ava DuVernay. Stormy was reading a Naomi comic book on the set of A Wrinkle in Time, and Ava DuVernay said, "Oh, got it, Naomi," and she's a new god, and this is what we got, and it's like, I would rather watch a sequel to the Martin Luther King film, He's Alive, than ever watch Ava DuVernay do another superhero anything.
Anything.
And you know what
Selma,
makes it so
Selma
bad?
2, He Not Dead, I would rather watch than a second season
And
of Naomi.
what makes Naomi so bad, because I stopped watching. I just couldn't take it anymore. I got
finished.
4 episodes deep, and I said,
You got 4 episodes shallow, let's be clear.
and I just couldn't take it. But what makes it so bad is that they don't even attempt to make them look anything even like the character.
Nope.
Like, they just casted regular Joes and put names to them. And I was like, that is not. I just was done.
It was offensive. It was offensive. And I actually reread the comic before watching it. I was like,
Oh.
I got a couple weeks off. I'm gonna watch the show. I reread the comic, went into it, and I said, I don't know what's happening right now. DC is quite possibly the biggest dumpster fire where they are literally pouring manure on it to try to put it out with everything that's happening over here. This dude, Ezra Miller, is quite possibly making it impossible for anyone to fuck with DC, much less the Flash. I'm telling you, when you get a charge of grooming a minor starting at the age of 12, and the parents try to step in, and the police want to serve you for some papers, and Brian Twitchmaster McBain is here. He sent us a story today about this motherfucker literally going on his Instagram page and taunting the police, talking about nah, you can't catch me, with like some Flash reference. I'm like, I'm losing my mind over this shit. I refuse. If Ezra Miller is in this film, I refuse to watch it just because of how he is treating this subject matter. I don't care if they go to court before the film comes out, they find out it wasn't true. I'm like, the disrespect you are showing for victims across this fucking country who actually have been groomed, who actually have been trafficked and all of that, and you're out here with this shit. Fuck you. Fuck the Flash, fuck Warner Brothers for going through with this film, especially when you fucking trash Johnny Depp without that trial even coming to court. So fuck you. McBain, how you doing, sir?
Doing great, man. Sorry I'm late. I took a nap. Didn't know we were coming on. Hey, I'm old, man. I love naps. Naps are great.
Yes.
Give me some naps. To co-sign on what Twala was saying, fuck Ezra Miller as a staff, a label, and as a motherfucking crew. Absolutely. In the beginning of all this Ezra Miller drama, I was like, maybe this person's going through some shit. Maybe they're off their meds, but it just kept snowballing, getting worse and worse and worse to the point now we're like, bruh, I'm done defending you. You're done, man. Or they, or whatever. It's just the person needs help. And like the fact that like they can't catch him and he's mocking people.
He really is the character in the Dumbledore,
The Fantastic Beasts.
He's the
Fantastic
reverse
Beasts.
Flash.
Oh,
That's what he is.
Grindelwald?
No, but I mean, he's
Ryan, that was funny as
demented
shit.
in that whole
Ryan, that was
three.
hilarious.
Oh, you mean that role, the role
Yeah.
that they play in that movie. Listen, I'll just say this. These little antics and the things that we have found out about Ezra Miller in the last, call it 3 weeks, really puts into context that slow-mo hot dog scene in Justice League. It changes it for me in a very bad way. And the problem with this movie that is now because of Ezra Miller is that this was supposed to be their introduction into the multiverse, because Flashpoint was alternate timelines. Flashpoint was, oh, this is how we can have Michael Keaton in, just like they had Toby and Andrew in. This was supposed to be their refresh where they could figure everything out. Finn Jones as Cyborg, Ray Fisher as Batwoman. This was supposed to be everything that they needed to do to reset the DCEU to a place where, oh, let's figure out what people liked. Let's figure out what people didn't like. You know, maybe this was going to open the door to the Black Superman movie, which I don't even know if that's even happening anymore. But it was all about resetting and keeping what you wanted to keep and throwing away what you wanted to throw away. And now it looks like I don't see any way that Warner Brothers can release this movie. I know that Ryan has said that it's done. It's wrapped. It's everything except final effects. And so you can't redo anything. Miller is a part of it. And you can't strip everything back to brass tacks to just do this movie without them.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. What's the difference between him and Jared Leto?
I didn't even know about Jared Leto's nasty ass until after this came out. So that's one.
What I
I'm
read on
saying
Leto,
that they are making him, the next, they have another movie coming.
Morbius
and
too?
No,
but I mean, but
I hope
he's
so.
That actually
Morbius is Revenge.
That actually may not be true.
It's Morbin time.
Versus the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't think any of that's happening.
I think the difference is no one's really come forward. Like,
Yeah,
no one's making
he's on
enough from that
trial.
No,
He's going to be starting a trial soon.
No, that trial is a defamation suit against somebody. He's not on trial for any. How do I put this? He's not on trial for anything he's done. He's going to trial for something somebody said about him.
Yeah, civil, not criminal.
There we go. It's a civil, not a criminal. Ezra's is potentially a huge criminal case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem that
He's on some Allison Mack shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm struggling with the 12-year-old with a 20+ year, almost 30-year-old.
I mean, not to justify, but there's
in
been
2022.
Should never have happened.
When you have social media, it's a little different than when we're back in the 40s and the 50s, and even pre-social media, when you can kind of get away with this stuff. I'm saying that it's a struggle for me because now this little girl isn't she 18?
She's 18.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents have no control. She's legal. But when she's 12,
the issue though, Liz,
when she's 13, when she's 14, when she's 15, I mean, you have a lot more control. You can go through the legal process, but when she hits 18, it's a wrap.
Well, the problem, Liz, is that I believe this is more to bring attention to this fucker and to totally destroy him. You and I, we keep an eye on our kids, right? We know where our kids are. I can see where my kids are going by looking at their phone. But I also know that, like, my daughter, who has friends who are her age, who are like 12 or 13 years old, and they just be walking home from school, and I see them leaving out and take off their jacket, and they got a little half shirt on, and I'm like, I grab them. I'm like, if I ever, she's like, hey, I don't even like dressing like that, but they do. These are parents who don't know what their kids are doing because, hey, they're not there to pick them up. For all they know, they could be meeting up with the damn Ezra Miller down the street to go, be in his next movie or whatever, because that's how these predators, that's how these individuals, they groom. That there is a science to it. I always tell people, pimps are pimps for a reason. They start off real sweet. They start off they're the most loving, caring people in the world. That is how they get these women out there on the street, convincing them that they're doing it as a team. Oh yeah, daddy, I'm doing this for you. I know pimps and I know how they think. So when I
I'm not
see what
disagreeing with
Ezra's
you.
doing, it's
But
not
the
hard.
legally though, when that kid hits 18, parent, as much as I want to duke it out, I can't duke it out in the same way as I can when she's 12, 13, 14, 15 legally. So
Hmm.
this is where it becomes a really strange, like if she wants to go with him at 18, what can I do?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I could bitch.
I will
That's it.
just say it took me 30 seconds, just Jared Leto comma scandal in Google. And if I had known this about him, I wouldn't have even gone to see that Mighty Morbin Power Ranger bullshit because
Right.
that, nah. He's on that R.
Mm.
Kelly shit too.
Mhm.
So no, it's a big no for me, Josh. And I'm just going to keep it pushing. I don't need to be involved or be adjacent to anything Jared Leto. I did
Mhm.
appreciate him in Dallas Buyers Club. I get it. It was a great role, but I had no idea. I thought 30 Seconds to Mars was like that same sort of Bruce Willis band bullshit that he tried, or somebody else tried. But I didn't. I had no idea that he was really like that freaky and creepy.
He's weird. He's
So,
a weird dude.
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's super weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not feeling that anymore.
I don't
Look,
understand why
back
they
in the
didn't just
day, I
go with
liked
the
R.
Flash.
Kelly up until I saw the tape. After I saw that, persona non grata, I was like, yo, this dude is
No, I'm
dead
done.
to this
I
station.
don't understand
all
why
of
they
that.
didn't go with the Flash that's on Channel 5. He's not terrible. I know
Oh,
that's
Greg
not a
Gustin, yeah.
sticker. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I know
Greg
that's not
Gustin.
I know that's not a draw, but I'm saying that he's not
Because
Was
DC
Ezra
That's
Miller
Snyder's
that
fault.
much of a
That's
draw?
Zack Snyder's fault. That's
Yeah.
I don't even understand. I didn't see why Ezra Miller was so great.
no.
I just don't get it. And I have to say, I mean, we're spending a lot of time on creepy people in careers and movies that are basically effectively over. But when there's so much better stuff to talk about, but it is important that to me, it's another sign of how DC is just absolutely rudderless. And I saw a video just last week about how Feige at one point was considering leaving because of the oppression of the then president of the division. And now he's got his own thing. But can you imagine what DC would be with Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman under Kevin Feige?
Oh,
what
my
if?
God.
I mean,
That's a
my
good what if
God,
episode.
my God. Marvel might have been
They wouldn't
able,
end up with that Wonder Woman too.
well, you sure wouldn't have, because he never would have greenlighted that horse shit.
Oof.
But here we are, and we have, two more amazing D+ series that are
Yeah.
killing the game.
Hey,
And
look.
whatever Ryan wants to say about the movies that are released in the Star Wars space,
Yeah, don't get me started.
D+ Star Wars has been pretty. I mean, pamphlet of Boba Fett aside.
That is that,
The
but that
ex-
gave
the
us two of
exception.
the most insane episodes of Star
Well,
Wars.
yeah.
exactly. That's true.
So I
That's true.
actually will forgive that just because I can go back and watch those two episodes
Two
and lose
episodes.
my mind.
2 out of 6.
Right.
I literally watch them every once in a while, like a movie, like it's a little mini movie, and I don't even know what the hell happened after because none of the other stuff matters.
But that's the point, though, Anthony. Those 2 episodes can erase from someone's memory. What was it? Skywalker, the last one, and
No,
Those-
the
those-
sequel
those-
trilogy is burned into my soul. Nothing's gonna make me forget.
into my soul.
I'm never gonna forget that. I know what you did.
Jeez.
Hey, look,
But you
for
know
me,
what?
those 2 episodes of of Boba Fett were like an exorcism. They really they made me say, okay, I'm good, Star Wars. I get it. You do love me. Those 2 episodes. Those
Right.
2 episodes, I said, you do get me. You see me. I felt
No,
like you
see-
hated me.
No, because Star Wars right now is acting like a pimp. In the beginning, it's like, oh yeah, baby, we love you. It's all good. And then they put out some shit like The Last Jedi, and then the pamphlet of Boba Fett. And then I'm like, all right, I'm out. Fuck you. I'm leaving you, daddy. And like, oh no, wait, hold on. Let me give you this Obi-Wan shit right here. And then I'm like, Maybe I'll stick
Can't,
around a
can't,
little
can't
longer.
leave it alone.
Can't leave it
Can't
alone.
leave it alone.
Wait,
Now,
Ryan,
look,
you were the one who was scared of Obi-Wan, remember?
Yes.
Okay, so come on.
No.
I'm clean.
Remember when your parents would leave for the weekend and say, "Here are the keys. Don't fuck anything up." So basically, all I wanted out of this is them to not ruin Obi-Wan. That's all I wanted. Just don't ruin Obi-Wan Kenobi. Don't ruin my childhood. There are some things that they're kind of reconning and some little like things that kind of bug me here and there, but they have not ruined Obi-Wan for me. So
Okay, my question is there a crack in the egg though? That was a risky business reference. Follow me. You let off with the family goes away. Is there a crack in her egg for Obi-Wan? Because you were convinced they're gonna fuck Obi-Wan up. That's what you were saying. They're gonna fuck Obi-Wan up. We're in episode 5. There's one episode left. I don't think you believe that they can fuck up the previous 5 episodes in the last episode. I don't think you believe that.
I will reply with this. I was really, really, really feeling Hawkeye until the last episode. So we'll just see what they do with the last episode. The last episode of Obi-Wan was good as well. So far, episode 3 still my favorite. Some things were kind of weird, like Hayden Christensen, a little too old.
Yeah. Well, look, all right, I'll comment on that one. So he did look old. I will give it to him.
Yes.
And my feelings for that was seeing it was okay. He's way older than he was in Phantom and Revenge. But here's the thing. Hold on. But here's the thing though. Would you rather have him as he was naturally on screen or then CGI him down to when he was younger?
They can CGI his face. Yeah.
I think I would have been more upset if they CGI him younger.
Okay, they can do that. They made Sam Jackson look young as hell in Captain Marvel. They can do this.
Yeah.
All I know is I would have been just fine with shadow puppets and Hayden's voice over. I hate him on screen. I do not like him as Vader. Fuck Hayden Christensen. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to say anything about the little boy because the little boy has had troubles and all that. But Hayden Christensen was a grown-ass man, and that is bullshit. He was horrible. And he looked... He looked like he had already been burned on Mustafar in this episode, and I'm gonna stick with that. I never liked his the way he says "master" annoys me. It makes my skin crawl. The way he said "Padme" annoyed me. It made my skin crawl. And to Mo's point, you should never have had Jake Lloyd as a prepubescent child getting the hots for 26-year-old Padme. It's gross. Well, you should have had Jared Leto playing the character.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, maybe the writers or fans of Mary Kay Letourneau. I don't know.
I would say,
I'll say that's a really old
separated
reference.
Though. They're not divorced.
That is really old.
She's dead.
What the fuck? Separated.
Of course she's separated.
She's dead? When did she die?
Yes.
Nobody tell me nothing. Nobody. I know they were separated before she died. Anyway, go ahead.
Shaka Strong says they should have CGI'd his face.
Yeah,
exactly.
they should.
Look, for me, I went into this episode after episode 3 thinking to myself, okay, this may be the point where to what Ryan was feeling was going to happen. It may peak there, and they're not going to be able to do anything else after that. Then they went into episode 4 and gave us action top to bottom. Then you give us this episode here, and they go so deep into an area that I didn't think we'd be able to see, that like going into the perspective of what happened with the younglings after Anakin came in, killing them, how now the third sister. I love the reveal for that, because now we see why she would get her own series. The shit is really fucking dope. The action, that showdown in that fucking cave and that base was one of the most epic fucking battles we've ever seen in Star Wars.
Toying with her too.
Oh,
he was
clearly.
Vader. He took her lightsaber, broke it in half, and threw her the other half.
And he held it like those two lightsabers like Ahsoka would hold them.
That's what I mean, Ryan. I'm hoping Ahsoka show up in the final episode.
That would
never resolve that. Remember,
that was slap. That would slap. Okay.
Wow.
When Vader
Wow.
confronted Reva, Reva tried to stab Vader. I thought
What
that was
was
hilarious.
what was
That
she
was a
even
horrible
thinking?
plan. But dude, that fight reminded me of Last Dragon when Sho'nuff had like the aura.
And the
She was
shit
like-
started.
She was coming after him. She was like, "Who's the master?" I was just like, dude, like
That shit was okay. Wait, have we ever seen? This is something because I don't watch all the animated shit, but certainly in live action, we have never seen a Vader flex as powerful as him grabbing that motherfucking ship. Have we?
Yes.
And
No.
bringing that shit
No,
back
that was
down.
first.
He brought
Yes.
that was like some Star Killer shit from the
Yes.
video
Yes.
game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
Quick
never
question, though.
flexed like that.
where the hell was the other ship? I was like, where the hell
On
were you
the other
hiding?
side. He was out of view.
Yeah, it was in the guts of the
It was
big
a
ship, right?
distraction. Yeah.
Ah, see, yes.
It was like buried, like just waiting to be squoze forth.
Look, Obi-Wan
maybe open up like a
had that
tin
gangster
can.
plan. That everything
Oh,
that
yeah, no.
everything that Obi-Wan did in this, I'm like, I get that they're changing
He
the
knows him,
lens
yeah.
of what we knew. I get that they're changing it and they're going a different direction with this, but man, so far I'm like, I'm totally satisfied because I get that it's like you can't cling to what you knew before. Look at it like this is a different comic book writer doing a different take on Obi-Wan, giving us a solo series that we've never seen that maybe gives you a different perspective, a different angle.
Right.
But so far, I'm loving everything about this. This isn't Obi-Wan who's still bossing up, who's like how you. I love how they're keeping him the Obi-Wan that would still go into being a hermit. He's not returning to the order and trying to start up
Right.
the Jedi as Luke did after him. No, he's like, everyone, let's get on the ship and get out of here. Okay, fuck it. I'm not trying to fight.
We gotta
this
go.
guy.
Shaka's comment is hilarious. I agree. Leah is the systems analyst, everything. Like she has a ton of skills.
I'm just trying to say I appreciate
fucking
even
crazy.
more Vader dipping his foot into Kenobi's robes because in A New Hope, because he was like, if this motherfucker just jumped into another goddamn starship while I was
Wait,
looking away, he wants to make fucking sure that Kenobi is actually, because he looked, the lightsaber fell. He's like, dip. Oh, it's just a cloak. Okay, I'm good.
The crazy
He did.
thing
Okay,
about
great.
this whole the crazy thing about this whole show is it's created because of a unfinished sentence by Vader. I felt something, a presence I have not felt since.
But since right.
And that's why we're getting this show, because motherfucker couldn't finish his sentences.
No, because George Lucas couldn't finish the goddamn sentence.
You
Let's
can't
be
write a
clear.
script long enough.
And then walked out of the room. It wasn't like a cut. He stopped his whole sentence.
Right.
All right.
I love it because now we're seeing how strong that Force connection is. That you can feel that hate emanating from before the ship even lands. He's like, yo, like there is some real hate coming my way, y'all. I'm telling you, we need to pack up and get out of here. Don't take nothing but what you can carry. Let's bail. This dude
Leave
is
the
coming
pancakes.
to get me.
Leave your bras. We've got to go.
I love
But
it.
look,
I
I will
love
give
it.
it to Disney. The one thing, as of right now, Disney has not fucked up, and they've had many opportunities to across the movies and the DC and the D plus, is fuck up Vader.
Yes, agreed.
That's
They
true.
have not.
Agreed.
So
That's
far,
So far,
so
They
far.
have nerfed him or
no, they have not.
No, I
And-
mean, unless you count Hayden Christensen burning on Mustafar as fucking up Vader, but I
Well,
mean,
no, that wasn't.
they've
Disney.
never fucked up James Earl Jones.
Ooh,
There's not
good
been
point.
an incarnation of James Earl Jones as Vader.
Vader-
They have messed up.
No, his voice in Rogue One was really wavering. I know they've added some technology now, but his voice in Rogue One did not sound Vader-esque. I will say that.
But his badass that stunt double
Oh.
they had was fucking shit up.
Oh yeah, oh great.
His
Like,
powers-
I think, if he would have said nothing in that film at all and just still killed all those people in that damn
You
corridor,
would have got it.
I'm like, good. It's all
his
good.
powers
It's all good.
with the Force, it's all about hatred, obviously.
Right,
So
yeah.
when first of all, when he's mad. When he was walking down and find that
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
woo!
Oh,
it's
he
like
was-
your
yeah,
dad
he was
walking
on
down
a
the
mission.
stairs about to beat somebody's ass.
Yeah.
walking
what it
through
was.
straight force, opening blast doors, like move, like get it, like by himself. Basically said, "Oh, y'all can wait the fuck outside."
In that aspect
know,
is
that's
kind of like
right.
the Hulk. The angrier he gets, the stronger he will get.
Mhm.
I was
And-
halfway waiting for Vader to pull a belt off and turn it into a lightsaber in some of them damn scenes. Because that motherfucker looked like he was about to beat. You're right, Ryan. It was an angry daddy walking in, and the mama said, "Do you know what that boy did to say? Look out, woman." That's what the vibe was I was getting from Vader.
He was blocking the lightsaber like this, like he was ordering lunch. Like, it's just like, dude, man, come on.
I said decaf.
1 second. All right, I got you. He wasn't even turning around, and he was.
Oh,
blocking it.
yes, such
No.
He just standing there like, "Fuck you doing?" Like,
You know what was really dope is
It was like
Vader,
Mike
and I
Tyson
just thought
versus
about this
a
right now. That
3-year-old.
dude went in there without a lightsaber. He went in there
Right.
just like, "I'm okay. I don't need anything but me right now."
But I mean, let's remember, what was it, 2 episodes ago when he had her like 25 feet in the air? Just like, yeah, you choking now. You straight
Yeah.
choking, right?
Rhea should have waited for Obi-Wan. She should not have tried to take him on by
She should
herself.
not-
She's
she
stupid.
should
But
not have.
that's that
Dumb move.
anger.
he.
But
she did not
Obi-Wan
with her
told
own
her that, though.
lightsabers. He never
Obi-Wan
used his own
told her, "You
lightsaber.
can't do
Right.
this on your own."
Right.
She said, "I don't need anybody."
Hmm.
Okay,
Vader
cool.
Yeah, and Vader
Okay,
went in
girl.
there without a lightsaber because he knew, like, Obi-Wan's whoop his ass like episode 3.
Right.
I don't know none of that.
I lit his ass on fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Don't.
And just think, and
God,
that's
hate in
just
your heart, let
Obi-Wan.
it out.
Because when you go and then you look at a show like Miss Marvel, who went so hard in the paint with their representation in this episode, I was cheering just for their salute to Islamic culture, just to the care and the indifference that they showed to making sure that everything was right.
But it wasn't
This series
fortuitous.
is beautiful.
They really
I've loved looking at it.
one thing I did like about Ms. Marvel, and I'm coming in from the standpoint of I don't think I like the series. They took their time and explained things naturally. It wasn't like they said message. No, it was in the natural flow of things. And you learn something about culture. You learn something about the Muslim religion, history of Pakistan, Bangladesh, and the partition. I thought that was fantastic, and I think the audiences can better learn and appreciate the historical significance. These just aren't brown characters. These just aren't Muslim characters. These are three-dimensional people, if you will, and we can learn something from them and also root for them. The haters are going to hate no matter what, but I thought it was a fantastic episode. It's still not for me, but I'll keep watching.
Now, but Mo, I'm going to tell you how this actually is for you and what this episode did. There are things that happen in this episode that connect to the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe in a way that's so subtle and so pure, it's ridiculous. From the conversation that Kamala was having at the table when she was in the restaurant with the young man that we're introduced to.
It's Kamala. Here.
It's Kamala. Yeah, it's not Kamala like Harris. It's Kamala. They make a big point.
Yes,
that
they
they're
make a
doing
point.
that.
My bad. With Kamala, when she's talking about their favorite movies, and they start joking about how their parents love which character? Kingo. And the young man says, "My mom likes Kingo Senior. I'm more partial to the newer one," referring to the character from the Eternals. That shit was fire. Then you get to the
But they're the same person.
but I'm the same person. Yeah, so that's why he says,
Yeah.
"My mom liked Kingo Senior. I
Right.
like the younger one," and they laugh about it. I'm like, yo, that's a dope ass reference to go right back to that, to tie it back into Bollywood. That shit was fresh. Then
I mean,
when
a
you
dope ass
show
reference
us,
to a shitty movie, but yeah, sure.
yeah, well, but again, the subtle connectivity is fly. The fact that we get damage control first introduced in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
In the live action sense. And now we see that they've been building in power. They've been getting, stronger governmental ties. So that throwback to the first Spider-Man film with damage control. And then in the end, she is being pursued by the damn spider drones from Far From Home, which damage control, obviously, I mean, maybe they took them over, but you have those now pursuing super or meta humans. Those things, I'm just like, yo, did you guys just do that? Did you just give us damage control, which is also going to be appearing in She-Hulk, damage control gets fleshed out there. You're giving us a direct connect to the Spider-Man universe. I don't know this character as deep as I should. I didn't collect the comic. It came out, when I was kind of like, yeah, Marvel is shit in the bed, and as far as creating new characters and comics.
It's
But
fairly new.
I know, Liz, this is your joint, Liz. You've been giving us Ms. Marvel, Ironheart for years. Like what is your take on this series?
I loved it so much. Like I agree with both what you and Mo were saying, but the thing that I like the most is that they made such an attempt to make this so much like the comics. Like, so little subtleties, like the fact that, I mean, when I was reading it, I felt it was strange that her brother was more darker, and so he looked more black, and so he had a black fiance, and so I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do this. And so when she came in the room, I was like, oh, they really are leaning so into the comics. And so I know that there was a lot of pushback because people were assuming that she was gay, and I was like, she's not gay. I don't know where we're coming with this. The
Well, I think
protesters.
this episode put that to rest.
Yeah, but even in the first episode, they were about to kiss. I mean, the comic itself, she likes the dude that she's next to.
Yeah.
And part of, and I don't know if they plan on, I know that we said that they're not going to go to the Inhumans, but I feel like they still left it open to wherever they wanted to go, because whatever she has in her, and that becomes a really part of her storyline, because that's what she ends up tackling, is there's a hunt on Inhumans. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be a very interesting pivot, because even the dude that you're talking about, that plays like her cousin, the little boy she has a crush on, that does become a part of the story that kind of sucks her into her becoming this Miss Marvel as much more as she is now. I just thought it was fabulous. I like it a lot.
Who was in the car? Who's home chick in the car at the end?
That's the woman who is banned. So are you talking about from the show, or are you talking about from the comic?
From the show.
Okay, so that's the one who everyone thought was dead. So they assume that grandma? She's dead. Yes, but
that's
she's super. She's a superhuman. We don't know supernatural. So far, we're not going to get to see that until next episode, what her level of supernatural is. And this is how she gets sucked into this developing who she is as Miss Marvel. She doesn't realize that they're not the good guys, but she's going to travel down this road for a while.
Oh, so wait, so Homeboy really is related to her.
So.
He is related to her.
Oh, snap. Okay. Wow. Whoa.
I was just very glad that I was a little worried. I knew that they weren't explicitly going with her original power set of the embiggening and all of that, and the stretchy stretch and all of that. But when I saw that the powers activated when she put on this bracelet, I was like, when I first heard about the bracelet, I thought, well, maybe it was like a quasar bracelet or something, something that was maybe tied in some way to the Kree, and that's where the connection was. But to discover that the powers were actually in her actually makes me feel better about the show, because if it had just been some genie in a bottle bullshit, she just happened to find a bauble in her great grandmother's, shawl case, and now she's a superhero, then it kind of makes her different. It doesn't make her as special. But now to see that the nascent power was, kind of triggered by this thing. And then to Liz's point, that great grandma, or whoever chick is still there. It makes it even more intriguing as to what, why this happened. Did she send the box to her on purpose because she suspected something? All of those sorts of things that could potentially come into play. I feel better that she actually has the power, and that the power, to Liz's point, it may even be an inhuman power. They just haven't closed the door really to it being some sort of thing that is a genetic legacy to maybe an ancestor who actually was, we might discover at some point, inhuman as opposed to purely totally human. And I guess, if they decide to try to tie the Inhuman mythos more closely to the Crapturnals, then I guess if that's their way to get it in there, I'm not completely mad. But because the Eternals and the Inhumans are kind of connected because of Terrigen mists and all that other stuff. So
the mother knows something too, because when she got the package,
She does.
saw that bracelet.
she tried to put it away.
Yeah. So
her
She
facial
does.
expression at dinner also made it clear when they're trying to tell her backstory.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
she kept dodging that.
Yeah.
And she's great. I really like the mom, by the way. I have to
Mhm.
say, when
I like the
That's-
dad too.
Dad's funny, dude.
but the mom, like when she snuck back in at the end of the first episode, that anger was so real.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
I really, really enjoyed that piece of the dynamic of their family. And it really struck me as, you know, now that we're getting into the Pakistani heritage and everything else, it really kind of struck me as real.
I love how they gave the Pakistani history too.
Mhm.
That I thought was really a nice little throw in. You know, that was
Thank you,
it was
Shaka.
not necessary, but I thought it was nice.
but the mom
But
is smart.
But I
That's
think
what
it is necessary. I think to the point that Mo brought up, this is a show, and like the other D plus shows, part of the rationale for doing these shows in this way is to give that extra texture.
Yes.
Right.
Especially since you're not really going into her, you know, in the comics, because she is an Inhuman, it kind of, to me, takes a little bit away of the ultimate heritage, because she's kind of separate and apart from that heritage by being an Inhuman.
Well,
the
People are gonna hate the
does
show
get-
regardless.
Yeah,
So
but the
But
comic,
exactly.
go in. So just
yeah,
go
but the
all
comic
in.
book does give you heritage, and I think
No,
that's yeah.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't. What I'm saying is that by making her basically an alien who happens to be
I
a
get you.
Muslim, it's different than her, you know, being a real Muslim and then having these powers, even though now they have alluded to the fact that maybe the powers are because of some extra thing. And if that extra thing turns out to be inhumanism, then, you know, because they are going to, you know, the stretching part of her powers is being done with the hard light, whatever she's calling it, the hard light constructs. So kind of just like Green Lantern can do anything with the hard light, or Quasar can, or whomever, the Nova Corps people, you know, to the extent that that's possible, you know.
But I really love, and I know Mo mentioned it offline, but the art, because they're using the art from the comic book,
That's good. I like that
and
too.
then they're using like the at the end of the movie, the rap songs from their culture, which I thought was really kind of cool, even though I love how they're throwing in hip hop all over the place. And then finally, I am so digging, you know how like on the ground they made like do like the little text message.
Yeah.
So they're like
Oh, yeah.
throwing it in the
Text, yeah.
background. Like that is just the
Mhm.
coolest, cutest little thing. I really like this show.
The
I have to-
show is insanely creative. This to me is kind of why now I see why they said, hey, ABC, we're taking all of that shit away from you. You guys
Yeah.
I
don't
know
know how
that's
to
right.
do these younger ended shows. You're making them really, really whack. You know, Cloak and Dagger, Runaways. You guys could have done a lot more with those, and
Right.
you squandered the opportunity. We're going to take this away, and we are going to give you a show that has all of the elements that we've been showing you across the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This show is cinematic quality as far as the look, the feel, the seriousness,
Mhm.
and the way that they are unfolding this character. I sat and watched with my daughter. She loves this character. She's never heard of her before. She's like, "What?" And I think even without her knowing it, she felt seen. She felt seen as being a young, quirky girl who's into her own style. Not even the powers, not even, you know, the fact that, you know, that we're dealing, we have any religious issues. It's just my daughter. She just felt like, wow, she looks like a normal girl. She's not, you know, a character that I can't be, that represents me. And I love that once again, the MCU, Feige, the whole crew over there is saying, hey, all you undercover khaki pants torch wearing motherfuckers who want to shut us down and fucking get this shit burned at the stake.
That's
fuck
right.
you, and fuck you too. We are all about representation right now. I know so many you know, Muslim brothers who are down with comics who are like, yo, this shit is actually really on point. This is hitting. Like, we were ready to tear this show down, And it's like, because you're dealing with right now, especially in America, say what you want, but if okay, I'm not even gonna get political, because I was gonna go say, like, if there was anyone whose last name is Muhammad, who is doing all these mass shootings, mass terrorism watches are out there, Buffalo shooters, hate crimes, or whatever. All I'm saying is there are folks who, once again, like with Shang-Chi, like with Black Panther, who are now being seen again, seen in the light for the very first time. There are no jokes within how they speak. This is not Apu from The Simpsons. Right. This is a very, very serious look at this culture. Just for that, I will support the shit out of this show for representation, because I really think that matters.
So while there's one thing I've forgotten, there was an article I think dropped yesterday where Disney Plus announced that they've expanded now into 50 different countries.
Yeah.
So they're not even limiting themselves to the American, air quotes for people can't see me, the American market. They understand we want to get these Chinese folks, we want to get these South Asian folks, and we've got just about all the Americans, and whatever that means, that we can get at this point. We have to expand beyond the borders, not only in a physical sense, but in an intellectual property and material sense. They have to start speaking to folks who are not, quote unquote, mom and apple pie and baseball and that kind of bullshit.
Well, can we talk just for a moment about the closing credits, though? Have you ever seen so many Arabic names?
Right.
In a closing sequence ever?
Really?
No.
I mean, even in Black Panther, we know Coogler and everything else. It's not like we had a whole lot of Jenkins, Jeffersons, Johnsons, and Washingtons in those closing credits. But you can't get through the closing credits of Ms. Marvel without an entire nation of Arabic names. And one of the things that really spoke to me about this show, in contrast to DC's efforts in Titans, they don't have to say fuck every 30 seconds or shit in order to appeal to young people. They've got a genuine young female character who is outstanding. She has this innocence and this just relentless positivity and
a Marvel fan,
and a fangirl. And they turn a series, they manage to create a compelling piece of superhero content that doesn't lean into, disaffected youth, she's gotta cuss, she's gonna smoke, she's gotta be an emo chick and da-da-da-da-da. It's a brilliant exploration into the youth space. And even though she's tied to Marvels right now, it's easy to see how she could become, the the Captain Marvel character for Young Avengers. It's easy to see how, there is Thunderbolts is now in play in Marvel. And so,
they mentioned her. They mentioned America Chavez.
That's the most connection. Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, but see, the interesting thing is that in the cartoon, the animated stuff, they do have Americana Chavez, but not in the comics. So it's going to be, to me, I feel that they opened the door for Miles Morales, because that's the one who's the closest to her.
Possibly.
Historically has been.
But
Sony
isn't going to give that up. Like,
okay,
that's
but
fair.
no, Tom. But when you look at how Sony is playing nice and saying, "Okay, Marvel, we're going to stop being bitches over here, and we're going to go on and let you get Spider-Man now on the Disney Plus app." You guys, we're moving to having it there exclusive.
Well,
no. But the U.S.
who's
is
in
coming.
New Jersey though? The person. I'm not gonna remember her name. I'm a black mama who don't remember names. The girl from WandaVision, who's
Agatha?
No. The
sister?
No.
Monica Rambeau.
No.
She's in Jersey.
Who is?
Where?
Wait,
that
what
is
are we
true.
talking about?
Yeah. No. Liz is just talking about different characters who are connected to New Jersey and where she's at. And
But who are we talking about? WandaVision. In WandaVision, are you talking
Monica
about
Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau?
Oh,
she was. Because she's in
Photon.
Shield or Sword, whatever.
I'm just.
but she's not a young Avenger. She's not.
No, but I'm just trying to figure out. the possibility, because the way that they've setting this up already in episode 2, there's so many possibilities of who you can bring in.
Well,
I
sure,
don't
but
know
you
who
got
you
you
could
got
bring in.
Kate Bishop in New York right now.
You got a lot of people.
Although-
in New
as
York.
far as
But
far as young,
the
potential
really-
young Avengers.
timeline of where we are in terms of Kamala
true.
and everything else. That
That's true.
whole I'm still confused about the Hawkeye timeline. But Kate Bishop is on the board.
That's true.
You've already got Ant-Man's daughter is in
Stature,
play
yep.
to
Mhm.
potentially to come in as Stature.
But right
You
now she's in
still-
San Francisco.
No, I get it.
No, just talking about the building of the young Avengers.
But I'm talking about the building of the people who are in play. You've already introduced Elijah's grandson, who
Yeah,
is
where's he
Patriot,
at?
and he's
Still at the house.
yeah, he's still at the house.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going to happen with him. You've got Wanda's 2 kids who may come from another universe. We don't know,
I
but
don't
they're
think
they're
that's-
around. And either Amadeus Cho, you have Amadeus Cho's mom, so you could have
You could
young
have him.
Hulk. You could have
Mhm.
him potentially come in. So you've certainly got enough of a roster, especially if you pull in Ms. Marvel as a Captain Marvel character. And if you decide that you're going to have, who was the boy Scarlet Witch in the Young Avengers? Which of Wanda's kids was?
That was Billy.
But I'm saying, what's his name?
Oh,
is,
Wiccan. Speed and
yeah,
Wiccan.
Wiccan. You got
Yeah.
Wiccan and Speed. And so you've almost got a full roster. The only one you don't have is Kang as Iron Lad, and maybe Kang is going to come in through Quantumania. Baby
Okay,
Kang.
well here's the thing. She's supposed to show up in Miss Marvel, right? I mean the Marvels.
And the Marvels, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, she's definitely
to
in it,
me, Rambo would make the most sense because she's supposed to be in it too. And she's
As
As
located.
far as maybe coming to talk to her, introduce herself,
Something
say, hey,
because
I
because-
can actually introduce you to Captain Marvel.
because further down the line, this
Mm.
this storyline of her getting hunted is a bigger part of the storyline because Shaka brings in this Bruno not going to Caltech. I don't know if he's going to Caltech or not, but I mean, versus the film or not, but he gets endangered in the comics. So this huntedness comes in and the taking over. And so Miles shows up in this. But I can see if you can't get Miles, getting another FBI somebody adjacent into this make more sense.
I mean,
Captain
given
Marvel's
this is-
gonna have to make up with Rambo first because she gave her a dirty look when her name was dropped in WandaVision. There's some beef
Yep.
there. So
Mhm.
before
Yeah, no,
she
there-
introduces her to Captain Marvel, that has to be worked out first.
Well, I mean, since this is D+, we don't talk about Bruno. No. So I don't know that that's going to factor in. But I think that this is the first series in a while. I mean, when you think about Hawkeye was kind of disassociated, Moon Knight was somewhat disassociated, although Hawkeye did bring the Kingpin thing in. This is a doorway. We haven't seen enough of Photon. It makes sense that Photon will make an appearance. We're only in episode 2. It makes sense that by the end of the run, Monica is brought in. And I think exactly for the reason that Twala said, I can introduce you to Captain Marvel. Or, I guess I could call that bitch. But, whatever it's going to be.
It's gonna be maybe.
You've got to be able to close the loop on that. And
They
it's
could bring
exciting.
in Fury too. They could bring in Nick Fury.
Oh, wait, look, Secret Invasion is like the next. I mean, after She-Hulk,
Yeah.
Secret Invasion is the next shit. So I mean, there's so much. Disney
Honestly, anything can happen.
Marvel is just
Yes.
Marvel is doing everything right. They're just doing everything right. I almost don't even need the movies. And let's be clear, folks. Thor is here. Thor is right around the corner.
Tickets on sale right now.
Like 2
yeah.
weeks.
Tickets are on sale already. And so, but I could be perfectly happy if you gave me a new D+ Marvel series every 12 weeks. It doesn't even need to be every 6 weeks. If you gave me that much content, get your stuff together. Get Fantastic Four made. Get Black Panther 2, whatever. Make it work. Deadpool 3 is on the way. Just give me my content. Just give me my
I mean,
content.
I
And
agree
don't
that
fuck it up.
I agree that this show finally makes me excited, not just because I think it's a good show, but Oh, there's so many possibilities. And this second episode opened the door so much that I was like, I don't know. I mean, I can guess, but I don't know what can happen at this point
Right.
because they have really kind of opened the door to every New York street level kind of thing that can happen.
Every New York street level character?
Oh,
Are you
boy.
talking about
Oh
the
my
immortal
God!
Iron
No, he's
Fist?
not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me.
Sworn enemy of the hand.
No, we are
I
not.
think they can.
We are not. No, because he would try to punch one of her hard light constructs, and his iron fist would turn into shards. And that would be
Lord have
He's
mercy.
coming,
Ryan,
Tom.
did you have a question?
no.
Who, me?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
No, I don't have a
Ryan,
question.
Ryan was bigging up Iron Fist.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say
Aluminum wrist.
Yeah, and okay, so like I was saying at the beginning of this show, there was so much to talk about, and there's even more because Jurassic Park, Mo
You
has
mean
seen
World?
it, or he was
Jurassic
forced to leave a
World.
theater to see it. Liz has
He
seen
saw
it.
some of it.
He saw some of it.
I have
We
not.
got Lightyear coming out on Friday.
Chris
A new
Evans.
episode of Anthony
Mo, did you
and
like?
Ryan's favorite
Did
show,
you like
The
what you
Boys.
saw?
Boys, yes.
Yeah,
Boys.
Hour of the movie, these kids were making so much fucking noise. I haven't walked
But
out of a movie in the past maybe 25 years. And I was
Wow.
walking out of this one. I walked out,
Okay.
got back. I did complain, but I didn't feel like I needed to go back and see it. I walked
I
out
feel you.
basically, and all the original.
Save it,
Okay.
because I want to hear that on Friday. Because
it.
as I said in the beginning,
Are you
we're
gonna be able
Captain
to go
Cartering
back?
this.
I'll go
Are you
back.
gonna? You're
I'm
gonna.
All
sorry.
right, cool. Look, you
I-
go
I
back
will-
and I will go. How about that?
Fair
I
enough.
will just say that my precious 3-year-old cousin, I asked him if he saw Jurassic World Domination, and he told me the Triceratops died and his face got broken. And I was like, the Triceratops died. And then my cousin said, no, he's watching Prehistoric World on Apple Plus.
It's so good.
And the idea that Mr. Triceratops dying actually gave me more emotional connection that I will probably have with the actual movie was
Well, there-
all I needed to
There's
know.
a Triceratops connection in the movie. I will say that.
Well, there was a
Yeah.
Triceratops connection in the first movie, so it doesn't surprise me that they
right.
brought Triceratops
Look,
back. So
it's fucking dinosaurs that for some reason or other this company wasn't shut down years ago, and the
I
people
mean-
aren't in Guantanamo Bay or whatever the fuck for all their crimes against humanity.
No,
I know that's
Uh,
right.
you don't
but
even
no.
know the
Yeah.
All right,
half
look.
of where this is gonna go to where you are going to. I still feel like you all are going to flip your lid when you see where this goes.
No, it's
I'm
ridiculous.
excited to be angry.
It is ridiculous. This
I'm
whole
excited for the anger.
it is ridiculous. Now, how they bring back the original cast is somewhat plausible. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
All right.
that's
All right.
fine.
That's
I'm
fair.
fine with that. I will just say that
I
Chris
still feel
Pratt
like
has
they
a new
fumbled it.
Amazon. Of course, they fumbled it. They fumbled the
They-
last 3.
No, but I'm saying they fumbled the bring back because there's one aspect
That-
of the
all
bring
right,
back.
all right,
that I
hey,
think that
okay,
they
so
fumbled.
all right, we're
Next
out.
week.
We're out.
Next week.
We're
Chris
out.
Pratt still has a
Friday.
career in an
wait.
Amazon Prime series. I don't know why.
Hey, very quickly, make sure you go out and you check out the trailer for the new
Prey.
Predator movie, Prey, which is coming out on Hulu in August. You got to go see it because we're going to have the director on Nerdorama in the coming week.
What?
Yeah, man.
Sir.
Yeah, man.
You guys are so freaking awesome.
This
Well,
is
that's
what we do, yo.
You're so
This is just
awesome.
what we do. Episode 1000 is upon us. Big shit coming our way. Anthony, my man, 50 grand. Take us out, good sir.
Good news, everybody.
Dr. Liz.
It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who saved the world.
Nice. McBain.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first 20 minutes of season 3 of The Boys is peak cinema. Peak cinema, people.
Oh my God. Jeez Louise.
Magnificent. Magnificent.
Oh
That boy
my
good.
God. Oh my God. Mo.
Life finds a way.
Oh Jesus! Now you're making me not want to see it. Cunningham.
Where is my triceratops?
That is Adam Sandler. That's quality H2.
My face is all jacked up because this is really tough. I got Bell's palsy, so I'm all like trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this Excelsior out here without sounding all crazy.
Just did.
But
Yeah.
I will just say Excelsior and peace and blessings, y'all.